Hello and welcome to The Week in Nintendo Land, the podcast where we discuss all the latest Nintendo news from rumors to reviews. And who better to talk about it than with our two co-hosts, Nathan Ellingsworth and Anna Karasik. Hello, guys.
Hey!
We've made it to episode 10. No one's pulled us off the internet yet. It's all good.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, we haven't gotten canceled.
Yes.
Hashtag cancel this week in Nintendo Land. Not yet.
Not yet. It's all good. How have your weeks been? Enjoying your weeks? There's been some pretty big news in the US, right?
Oh, I mean, I don't know what you're talking about, frankly. I live in the heart of Manhattan. I have no clue what you're talking about. I definitely didn't hear cheering out of my window on Saturday afternoon, or just before the afternoon, rather. Definitely didn't. I have no idea. What are you talking about?
I'm surprised you're not out there now, just partying, just going crazy.
I'll leave that to everyone else.
So we're here to talk about Nintendo news. It's been a pretty slow news week for Nintendo news. World events, a lot has happened, as we've discussed. But it's nice to distract ourselves with a little chat about games. Instead of what we usually do, we're going to go through the news. I thought we could kind of talk about the future, and specifically what Nintendo has in store for us in 2021. But before we look forward, though, one thing we've learned this week, though, is despite everything, Nintendo has had a pretty good 2020, if their latest financial report is anything to go by. So let's just take a look at what big headlines came out of that. Nintendo are entering the home straight of 2020 with some enviable financial numbers. In its latest earnings report, they announced Switch sales are up 80% and game sales are up 71% from last year, with Japan's richest company projected to generate $4.3 billion of profit by March 2021. Basically, as we've just seen there, Nintendo is owning 2020. They've sold 68.3 million Switches to date, overtaking the NES to become their second highest selling console behind the Wii. Animal Crossing New Horizons has sold 26 million copies, and that's only 3 million behind Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. And Super Mario 3D All-Stars sold a whopping 5.21 million copies in just 12 days. So it's fair to say, going into next year, Nintendo are in a pretty healthy state, right?
I mean, yeah, definitely. It's been really good over the last 2 years to just have consistently great Nintendo news. Like, I remember the Wii U days, man. Those were tough. Trying to explain to my friends why I still had a Wii U or a 3DS, and people were like, just buy a PlayStation, man. I'm like, shut up. I want to be Wind Waker. But like nowadays, it's great that like we can look at this and look at Nintendo as a successful company again and celebrate, kind of the latest Mario games, the latest Zelda games, and people are talking about them and people are playing them. And I've got so many friends that picked up a Switch either last year or this year during lockdown and started playing Animal Crossing. And like I've been able to play Animal Crossing with my friends, which is something I didn't do before with people I don't think play games and stuff. Like it's easy to look at these numbers and be like, wow, big sales. But I think they really show the cultural shift that we've had for Nintendo in the last few years. And I think that's the important thing to look at and be like, this is a huge success story, man. It's so good to see Nintendo on the tip of people's tongues again, like back in the DS days when, your mum was playing Professor Layton. Like,
right. I think you nailed it with that, with your mom's play. I think it's becoming a family console again.
Mm.
And that's one of the has always been a big selling, not always. It became a big selling point and they lost it, and it's come and gone. And I feel like they tried to get it with the Wii U and people were like, what the heck is this monstrosity? And then now they've kind of recaptured it where it's like, yeah, mom wants to play Animal Crossing and give it a try. And then suddenly she's playing Astro Bears with the kids.
Yeah, I think the main thing Nintendo have learned is to separate the console from the gimmick, because the Switch is a console. You've got these bells and whistles in there. And if you want to play 1-2 Switch, whatever you can, but like, you don't have to sit there with a Wiimote. Like, Ring Fit is a really good idea and it makes great use of the Joy-Cons. But other people just buy Skyrim and something else and a Pro Controller and never touch their Joy-Cons. Like, I think separating that barrier of entry, because some people did look at the Wiimote and were like, I'm not buying that. What are you doing? Like, I think Nintendo did a really smart thing and being like, you can have the console and you can have the fitness stuff as well. And that's clearly worked. And it's so good to see it working so well.
I think the thing is, it's like such a versatile console because you can take it. It could be purely a handheld if you want it to be. You can just play it purely on your TV at home. It can be whatever people want it to be, and I think that's that strategy has worked out so well for them.
The option of the Switch Lite and the compatibility. However, I think that while this is a good thing, and while it shows Nintendo can compete in this time of the refrigerator console and the internet modem, you also have No Shade.
That's not their official names.
I don't know what am I talking about. I think that they need to stay competitive, and they're having trouble staying competitive on the online front. Like we talk about things like Splatoon is good examples, and Animal Crossing is like horror story examples. To be honest, it's so fun to play online on Animal Crossing, but it is such a hassle. Have you ever gone to an island where there's people like actively trying to come in? It's like you can't get two steps and
one day back when it was like the proper like height of the zeitgeist. That was hard to say. But my turnip prices were 620, and I, trying to be the good person I was, put a call out on Twitter, and I was like, I was like, hey guys, and number one, my Twitter went mental. I had so many message requests, but then I had to like get this waiting system on board because I was like, I'm gonna have to tell you 5 minutes, you 10 minutes, and then like because there was no point trying to get more than 3 or 4 people on my island because it was just mayhem. And then every time, you're right, they're like, dun, dun, another person going in, and you're like, here's the flight imagery. Here they come.
Oh my god, yeah, having to watch everyone arrive and leave. Yes, this is ridiculous. Have they fixed that yet? Or because I haven't played it for a couple of months.
No, and they never will. That's just part of the game.
Right.
That's part of I don't think that'll ever change. And again, No Shade, I love Animal Crossing. I'm wearing my Animal Crossing black milk clothing dress here. So
very nice. Oh, look at that. That's great.
Pattern. But it just goes to show. Oh yes, I have my bag too. I whipped it out. I was at the grocery store. That bag turns into a convenient little pouch. And you might go, well, Anna, why would you need your bag to turn into a little tiny pouch? Well, let me tell you why. It's so much easier to stuff into your backpack, which you take to the grocery store like I did. And when my backpack got full, I was like, well, hang on, let me take out my Animal Crossing Dodo Airlines bag. And I said it just like that. No, I didn't, but I did whip it out like, it kind of gave it the little whip, like, look at my Animal Crossing bag.
Very cool, yeah.
Oh, it's so cool. But anyway, online play needs a big boost, and that's just one example of, I saw like a Miiverse nostalgia post today on Twitter. Nintendo needs to get back to connecting players in a seamless way and not be so uptight about it. I know it's hard because they want to be kid friendly, and shit posters are gonna, pardon my French, go on there and do their thing. I just think that they need to kind of loosen their belt a little bit and let everybody enjoy the online experience, because otherwise, there will be people who have to decide, do I want to Switch? Do I want a PS5 or do I want an Xbox? And the online capabilities and the games that feature all that will not be on the Nintendo console. And they're going to be like, guess I won't get a Switch,
100%, especially as we go into this kind of like age of cloud versions of games, and they're probably not going to have the same sort of features. And it's not like they can't do it. It's not like they can't host these things. When you look at the stuff that Fortnite does, when it's all in game, it's all there. And it's all like the people who are doing the voice chat, the proprietary voice chat for Fortnite have said, like, Nintendo, if you want to work with us, we'll happily do this. You don't have to make this weird, mad app that doesn't work and you've got to do it separately. Like, and it doesn't protect that much anyway either. Like, if people want to be abusive online, they can do that. I don't know what you think you're stopping Nintendo. Like, you're better off just making a good experience and giving people the tools to report people if they want to, and giving parents the tool to limit voice chat and stuff if they want to. Like, just yeah, it really annoys me. Animal Crossing is such a good example because that game should be way easier to play online, but that isn't so much a case of censoring or like, oh, don't talk online like Splatoon or something, but it is really emblematic of Nintendo's attitude to online play and the fact that they don't see it as a priority. But Animal Crossing's just sold 23 million copies. It's going to be the best-selling game. So like, what message are they getting? I don't think they look at, you know, the one out of 10 Metacritic review bomb things that are like worst game ever. I think they look at the sales and are like, brilliant. Like,
we're telling them with our wallets. Mind you,
it's like Pokemon. Like, what so many people have bought these games, even though they've got these massive flaws.
True.
And they don't listen to that. They listen to sales. They're a business. That's it.
That's so true.
It's the bottom line.
And they're doing pretty well.
Quarantine is a big part of not Pokemon, but everything in 2020. Quarantine has been a huge, I think, part of the sales and the success of the Switch.
I know so many people that in March, when we went into full lockdown, bought a Switch Lite and Animal Crossing there and then, and that's the only game they have. Or they maybe picked up like 2 Point Hospital or something as well. But
I know a couple of people who did that too.
Yeah.
It's amazing, and it's just it's been amazing for their sales. You know, I think, like I said, it'll go back to people looking at it on a serious note and not on like a I need a quick console note, and being okay. Do I want the one that lets me play online with all my friends who will have the other console, or do I want to play on the one console that I can't play with everybody because it's like that? You know, I think that it could be a problem going forward if they don't start evolving. They've made good steps and then taken them back. I mean, so let's make more steps.
I think the issue is you can pick up a Switch and you can buy Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Odyssey, and a couple of other games that have no online at all. They don't need it. And these are some of the best games you can ever play. And
That's fair.
They look incredible.
Absolutely.
You can only get them on Nintendo. And I think that's why Nintendo don't have this massive thing. Whereas other people
they don't need it.
Yeah, other people look at kind of games as a service. Then you look at stuff like Call of Duty Warzone that's turned into this massive online multiplayer thing that depends on service and people being able to work out in clans and teams and stuff. And it is the way the industry is going. You look at the success of something like Fall Guys, and Fall Guys only works because it's an online game you can play with your friends. So I wish Nintendo are so good at what they do that they don't need to change, but I wish they would.
Yes.
I wish they would
to move with the times, don't they?
That's what it is. They don't need it to survive, but in order to thrive, in order to like wow everybody, I think everybody would really be have on their socks would be just knocked off if Nintendo would just make that move.
I'd love to see them apply this sort of thing to Splatoon, where you just could chat with your friends, where they made kind of like the original Miiverse options better. You know, you can have clans or whatever, things like that. Like Splatoon especially, I think, suffers from not having those. It's an incredible game. It's the best online game Nintendo have ever made. Like the online on that is so seamless. It's better than Smash Brothers anything, other than maybe Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. So like, to see it still being hampered in an industry that is so online focused, especially as we are currently in the middle of a pandemic and we are focusing on online play, and who knows how much that's going to change in the next year if we have like, you know, pockets of cases here and there or whatever. Like it frustrates me, but you know, Nintendo don't have future vision. They couldn't have looked at what was going to happen. You know, Animal Crossing was incredibly well timed, and that was lightning in a bottle for them. But I would love for them to look at this year and be like, hey, these online games have done really well because people have been stuck at home. Why don't we see what we can do to help these people in the future, whether people are going outside or not? Like Super Mario 3D World Deluxe, no, Bowser's Fury, sorry, has got online co-op now. And that is a great move. I don't know if that's going to have voice chat or not. That would be really good if it did. But then you look at Pikmin 3 and that only has local co-op. That doesn't have online. So it's like, I just don't see any consistency in the stuff they're adding or their values or what they want to add. I think it's kind of just case by case for Nintendo and what they want to do, which is annoying. It's frustrating when you want these features in games and I guess we've maybe been spoiled that we kind of expect these things, but also just look at the numbers they're doing, man. That I don't think they're looking at the other
Yeah,
consoles and saying that they need to change online to compete. I think if
Can't
anything,
argue.
they're looking at maybe graphics and saying they just want the third-party games. I think that's the thing for them. But we can sit and say what we wish Nintendo would do all night.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. That I think they're going to be very slow to change and move with the times. They do seem like they're very far behind the other companies. But looking ahead at the future, we talked about the present. We're here to talk about the future. And I guess a big way they can compete with these companies, Microsoft, Sony, is perhaps a Switch Pro, which has been rumored. It feels like it's been rumored for years. It feels like there's so many leaks and things like that, little reports here and there. So is it real? And when is it coming out? Is 2021 going to be the year that the Switch Pro is finally revealed and released?
It's not a rumor, it's an eventuality. Nintendo sell hardware. That's what they do. They're a company that sells hardware. Their current hardware is going to be 4 years old. We had a new 3DS. We had a DSi. It's happening. The only rumors are, what is it going to be? Is it going to be this mini LED screen? Are we going to see a Joy-Con redesign? Is there going to be a Switch Pro Home, a $200 box instead of $300 that is just for home because you don't want a 4K device that's portable as well? Like these are the things that are up in the air. But 100% we're getting Switch hardware, and yes, next year, of course it is.
Next year.
But yeah.
Yeah, I don't see why we wouldn't at least get a major details early on. So I don't know as much as you guys do about that, but I feel like it's time. There's a handy video out about it, isn't there?
Yeah, exactly, on the Switch Player YouTube channel right now that you can check out. Maybe I'll leave a link in the description just for you.
Obviously, we have this March 26th date that we've got Monster Hunter Rise, we've got Balan Wonderland, which is also a PS5 and Xbox Series XS cross-platform game, and we don't know anything of Nintendo's beyond that. Literally no trailers other than Breath of the Wild 2, no trailers, no screenshots, nothing. Doom Eternal has gone very silent, which is obviously a very visually powerful game and stuff. So the silence is very telling. And we have heard rumors of Nintendo internally telling third-party developers, if you can make these games 4K ready for upscaling or these sorts of things. So
that's the thing, like you say, like Doom Eternal, that was they were kind of saying, a few months after the main game releases, the Switch version will come. Yeah, and like you say, suddenly it went suddenly. So maybe Nintendo would like to them, like, something's coming, and just hold it back a little bit.
I really think they got wind of the Switch Pro and have decided that they only want to show the trailer with Switch Pro footage. I think that's what people are doing now. So when they get the, when we get third-party games showcased, they can be like, Switch Pro footage. You look at the trailer, and you're like, that looks great. And then you play it on your Switch Lite, and you're like, what?
Yeah.
but that's fine. That's the whole point of the Switch, is it can have these experiences, and they scale, and they're all going to be running on different things. So
you think there's not going to be you don't think there's going to be a Switch Pro exclusive game? They're all going to be enhanced for Switch Pro.
We've just seen Nintendo have sold 65, nearing 70 million Switches. I think a Switch Pro exclusive right now is suicide. The same as we're seeing Miles Morales is out on PS5 and it looks amazing. It's also out on PS4 because there's however many PS4s in the world. I'm sure there will be, but man, Xenoblade Chronicles on 3DS did not sell well. And it was such a shame because it was a good game. And what are the other ones? Maybe Fire Emblem Warriors and Minecraft, I think, are the only exclusives for 3D, new 3DS and that sort of thing. And the SNES games, madly. But it doesn't make business sense. I think they're all going to be scalable. They're all going to be like, we made it work on the Switch, but you probably want to play the Switch Pro version, so I think it's going to be a case.
They did that with Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. It was on the Wii U. It's on the Switch, and these games are going to run on the Switch. The Switch is very capable, but I hope any potential Switch Pro is where we start seeing locked like 1080p 60 frames. If we maybe do see 4K upscaling as well, which would be great because we know the latest NVIDIA chip can do native 4K upscaling. And obviously we are currently using the NVIDIA Tegra chip, which is like was already kind of going out of date when the Switch was announced. But obviously Nintendo don't do the best technology, they do the cheapest. So like, yeah, we'll see. It's happening. It's definitely happening. And if I was a betting man, I'd say March because of that very conspicuous date and the fact we haven't seen anything after that. And if I was really throwing all my guesses out there, I'd say January we're going to see a reveal with 2 months lead in, like we saw in 2017 with the big Switch reveal event. Because you do not announce new hardware before Christmas because that's mental. You don't like.
And maybe they're just waiting to kind of see how COVID's going to play out,
Unless,
and the kind of economic downturn, how that's going to be.
Unless you want to cut all of your Christmas sales, you do not announce new hardware in December. You say, hey, look, here's all the Mario games, but they're only on it for so long, and here's all the Switches, and then you sell a load of those, and then in January you go, haha, we've got a new Switch coming out and a new Nintendo Switch Online system, and you can just buy these Mario games on there, and everyone's like, I just spent 300 quid, you pricks. Like, it's. But
do you think that's why they're making the 3D Mario All Stars? Do you reckon that's why they did the limited release, because they're going to release an updated Pro version when the Pro's released? Like, oh, by the way, here's everything you wanted in that original collection, but for Pro.
Personally, yeah, I think that's what it is. I think very annoyingly, I think we're going to see a major overhaul to Nintendo Switch Online. I think we're likely to see, like we've just seen, the Super Mario 3D All-Stars collection is running on emulators that were developed by Nintendo Europe Research Development, and they all look great. So now we know that N64 games run fine. Same with GameCube, same with Wii. And we've also seen the Fire Emblem game is limited to the end of March. Super Mario 35 is limited to the end of the March. So the current Nintendo Switch Online system we have is clearly changing at the end of March. And probably because we're going to get a load of new hardware, probably going to get a major refresh, and probably, maybe the new Switch Pro is the only way to play Wii games or something. I don't know. They'll do something mad again to get money out of us. Like, that's me being super, super critical, and I don't want that to be the reason, but I think
sounds logical.
I think that is the reason, and I think it's really rubbish because 3D All-Stars isn't that good a collection. Like, they're masterpiece games, but the collection is not impressive. But they've made this artificial scarcity, so people are panicking buying it when they're actually then going to show us a better way of playing these games, of buying these games in a few months' time. And they just did this to get money out of us.
And speaking of Mario games, the one game confirmed for next year from Nintendo is Super Mario 3D World, a remaster of the 2013 Wii U game.
Back in. I love Nintendo.
Yeah. Have my money.
Damn it.
So that's coming to Switch in February. So is that a good way? I already know Nathan's answer, but is this a good way to kickstart the year for Nintendo and Switch owners?
Well, if you already know his answer, then I would say it's kind of I feel like it's lukewarm. Like, I don't know, but that's just me. Like, I'm not, I know it's like a big multiplayer, like everyone's going to have a lot of fun with it. I don't know. For me, it's lukewarm. I'm more excited about the Zelda Anniversary stuff that's going to come later. I don't know what would really be a great start to my year. I guess Bravely Default's in February, right? So that's something I'm really excited about. But is that right?
February 26th.
Yeah.
I think
That'll be. I think that's
the week
what
after or before.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to be excited about the start of the year. Yeah, Mario 3D World for me, like, personally, not the biggest, like I've said before on the podcast, not the biggest Mario fan in the world, because I'm not that good at platformers. I do love the 3D All-Stars collection. I did buy it and I love it. It's my first time playing Galaxy and I adore it.
So good. That's the thing. They're great games.
Yeah, it's really good.
A better collection.
Yeah, it's unfortunate the way it's happening, but yeah, 3D World. I probably won't get it. I'll play it with my friends, probably who do get it.
Have you never played it?
That's the one that was on Wii U, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I played that. We had it on Wii U when I had a Wii U. That's the one with the really good 4-player. Yeah. No,
and
it was really
Cat Mario.
Yes,
Cat
really.
Mario,
And Cat Peach, right?
If you've ever wanted to hear Luigi meow, this is the game.
It's the buy.
It's a very fun game to play with people. Unfortunately, this is not really the best time to be getting together with a bunch of people. Maybe people who are in your social bubble.
But they're adding online multiplayer, which is
there you go.
Such a good idea.
There you go. But it's like probably not going to be the game for me, but it's probably going to be one that when I go visit friends, I'll definitely be like, can we play your Mario 3D World? But I don't see myself spending the money on it right there at the top of the year.
Fair.
The collection was different. Those were 3 like classic games. This is like one that's I'm not much of a couch gamer to begin with.
Yeah,
I think to average consumers though, like anything with Mario on the front cover, they're gonna buy. And I guess everyone's probably judging by the sales, everyone's bought Mario 3D All Stars already, and they're gonna be hankering for another Mario game. I guess Super Mario Odyssey 2 is not gonna come for a while, so this might kind of hold us out until then.
Yeah, people will buy it. Plenty of people will buy it, and it was a really good game from what I remember.
I think one of the problems is obviously the Wii U was pretty disappointing anyway. So I just had a look, and Super Mario 3D World sold 5 million copies. So like the attach rate was incredible for the Wii U, but obviously on Switch that's not that impressive. Good games are doing like 3 million. Like Fire Emblem Three Houses just did 3 million.
Yeah,
but this is a Mario game. This is a Mario game. The problem it had was it came after Galaxy 1 and 2. And, you know, everyone after Galaxy 1 and 2 was like, what are they going to do? Is it going to go like, I don't even know where you go beyond space. Like, is it going to go through time and stuff or like whatever? And they were like, imagine a 2D Mario game, but 3D. And everyone was like, oh, but it's so well made and it's so different. And I think history is going to be kinder to it because you've got the option. Like, you've got Super Mario Odyssey, which is the big, incredible, balls to the wall, absolutely everything in their Mario game that we all wanted after Galaxy 2. Whereas I think 3D World is the family game. I think it is you can have 4 of you playing it, and it's super fun in short bursts. A 3-year-old can't get lost looking for moons. It's 2-minute levels, and they're concise. They're tightly made. They're smart. The music is great. It's brightly colored. Like, I adore that game because I played it entirely with like friends and stuff, or I played it with my stepdaughter as well. She got obsessed with it. Like, and the idea of playing that with family again and stuff is such a, like, I literally was talking to my stepdaughter about it today because she was asking me like, did you say that's coming to Switch? And I was like, yeah. She was like, oh my God, I can't wait. And she was just watching YouTube videos of people playing it. She was like, this is the funniest Mario game. And I was like, you're right, this is the funniest Mario game because it's so silly and over the top.
Yeah, you can have the hijinks with people, the antics.
Yeah, and 4-player online multiplayer is going to be a dream for streamers. This game is going to blow up in a way that they probably wanted Super Mario Maker 2 to, but it didn't. Like, I just think because we have Odyssey now and we know Nintendo are still committed to that sort of thing, we're going to be a lot kinder to it. Whereas when this was the only thing we had in the horrible Wii U days where we were getting stuff like Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival, of course people were PO'd. Of course they were like, what, are you joking? Like, I get the frustration at the time and I get why people were lukewarm on it. But I think as an option amongst so many other things, I think this is going to be a really good Switch game, man. I think it's going to be really, really good.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to playing it because I only dabbled in the Wii U version. I think when I bought it, played a few levels, and just kind of like something else came along. I had an Xbox at the same time, so I just kind of like went onto that. So I'm really looking forward to getting it again and just like diving in and proper giving it my full attention this time around.
Yeah, like
it's all the other streamers are playing. I'll be playing it after all.
Like it's still a fun game on your own as well because it's a Nintendo game. The levels are great. The music is incredible. Like, it's such a jazzy soundtrack, but it's just, when you play it with other people, it's the magic that New Super Mario Bros. Wii was. Like, that isn't the best Nintendo game, but I think everyone who remembers New Super Mario Bros. Wii fondly remembers it because they were sat playing it with their mum or their brother. Like, it's that sort of like, only Nintendo can create these experiences, and that's why these moments are special.
Next year we need to do a live stream, 3 of us playing it together.
Oh man, I would love that. I'd love that so much.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's commit to it right now.
Right. Okay. Fine.
So let's talk about some of the other games that currently don't have firm release dates, but kind of maybe rumored for 2021. We've got Pokemon Snap, so that we've already seen a trailer for that. There was some kind of rumors floating around that was going to be released in November 2020, but I guess that never happened.
Yeah.
And Breath of the Wild 2 as well. That's a big one. Again, that was holiday 2020. There was some rumors about it happening then. That's obviously got shifted. Are we likely to see both those games in 2021, or do you think they're more likely 2022?
I was like
a dramatic pause there.
Well, I was just like, I've been speaking for ages. I'm sure Anna's going to take the lead.
I'm like, oh, I my guess is as good as yours.
I'm going to say Breath of the Wild 2. That's going to come out in March. So they'll announce the Switch Pro, and Breath of the Wild 2 is going to be, because we've had Breath of the Wild launched with the Switch.
Whoa, hang on, I got it.
The Switch
That's
Lite,
way
Link's
too
Awakening.
early. That's coming. You think Breath of the Wild 2 is coming out in March? Is that what you just said?
It's built on the same engine, right? So surely there can't be that much. They've had a couple of years.
They market these games for 6 months to a year. This isn't Astral Chain. They're not just going to pull this out and be like, hope you like it. This is a Zelda game. This is a Zelda game. This is going to be
like, I think at earliest, like a summer release.
Don't get me wrong. Okay. I think they wanted to bring it out with a Switch Pro in March. And I think we probably would have originally got a big direct. Maybe it would have been a cap on the Nintendo Direct in the summer, because obviously it was originally announced in the original Nintendo Direct the year before in 2019. So I think their original plan was probably like have the big Mario celebration in E3 2020, reveal Super Mario 3D All-Stars and reveal 3D World and stuff like that, and then finish it with a huge Zelda blowout, and then maybe like a Zelda Direct later in the year. But obviously things have changed. John has spoken loads about how we are not being respectful enough of the idea that Japan works very, very differently to us. Much as Western developers have been like, we figured it out. Like in the West, we've got, do you know how much space people have got? Like you look at America, like the size of it, just like, shut up. It's not how Japan works. Japan is tiny. They have these tiny office spaces. They don't have the same sort of internet that we have, the infrastructure. So I think Breath of the Wild 2, they had the greatest intentions of launching the Switch Pro with it, because that's what Nintendo do. They always launch new hardware with a Zelda game. They launched the Switch Lite with Link's Awakening. They launched the new 3DS with Majora's Mask. That this is what they do now. But I think we're more likely now to maybe get the Switch Pro with a Zelda collection like Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess, or something, or Skyward Sword HD. And I'm sure they wanted to do it, but I think Breath of the Wild 2 has a 6-month schedule of promotion. This is a huge game for them. They're not going to take it lightly. They're not going to pop it out like Paper Mario, which is a smaller game, which was great that it was like, hey, it's coming and now it's here. But I think Zelda's different. I think it's just got a prestige that no other series does for Nintendo. I think they take it very seriously and they want it to sell as much as possible. So I think it's probably now our holiday 2021 game, and maybe what originally has moved into 2022. Like I don't want to be doom and gloom, but Nintendo, their entire calendar, their schedule, everything has moved. Everything. So every game you thought was coming, or maybe we've heard a little bit about, is coming later. Like, and that's fine. That's fine. It's entertainment. It's all toys. We're super lucky to get these things. And I want nothing more than for the developers I love the most to feel safe, to feel looked after, and to not feel pressured. And it's not like we've been lacking. We've had loads of good stuff. I just think that's true. I just think that things are being pushed and people aren't respecting the fact that everything's being pushed. Not like, oh, the 2020 games are moving. What do you think? But they just carried on making the 2022 games. Do you think they were just like, well, I'll go in for Metroid Prime 4 because that's 2021? Like everything's moved, mate.
I do think that although they wouldn't just drop, like you said, a game like that, maybe not that game, but with what is it, 35th anniversary of Zelda coming up? Is that correct?
And Pokemon's 25th in February.
So I think we're going to get, at the very least, on both counts, some flashy remakes, if not just some much sought after ports. like of older games coming up, just like the All Stars collection. We're gonna get something like that for both of those, where you'll be able to play, this old game on your Switch very easily, or you're gonna get kind of a Link's Awakening type thing for this game or that game.
I mean,
I think we're gonna get more of that.
Link's Awakening will be a couple of years old next year, so
and
Grezzo will clearly work
people
on something.
keep saying we want a Link's Awakening for the Oracle games. We want a Link's Awakening for Minish Cap. For Minish Cap, that would be the freaking cutest game in the world.
No, Minish Cap doesn't need anything. It's like Metroid Fusion. It doesn't need to be touched.
It doesn't.
That's perfect pixel art.
I'm just saying
the Oracle games, I agree.
I'm just saying that the with the miniature already style of Minish Cap, if they were to, I agree, the pixel art is like perfect in Minish Cap. But if they were to put it in the Awakening style, the remake like toyish style, it would just work so well. See, I don't think it would be jarring.
To me, what I would want out of Grezzo next year, if they were to release a game next year, look at the art style of Link's Awakening, and then look at the promotional art for Earthbound, where they had the clay miniatures, where it was made to look toyetic. I want an Earthbound remake from Grezzo in that style.
That'd be wonderful.
Can you imagine how incredible that would be?
So cute. But my God.
I also think, so Pokemon's 25th anniversary is February 26th or something like that, 25th. We've already had leaked the Pokemon 25th logo on a couple of cards. So we're probably going to get a Pokemon Direct before the end of the year, or maybe in January again, like we had at the start of this year. Oh my God, that was this year. I was, oh my life, because I was a long year. I was in Cyprus visiting my grandparents at the time, so I remember watching that Direct, but thinking that like the start of this year was that Pokemon Direct has warped my mind. So maybe in January we get a Pokemon Direct as well, and maybe that ties into any potential changes to NSO with a new Switch. So maybe, so one thing that has been rumored, and I won't touch on too much because everything's been rumored. There's so many things been rumored. But one thing that has been touched upon is second screen support. And a lot of Wii U games and DS games are kind of stuck in limbo right now. And it's a shame because obviously the DS has one of the best catalogs of any console literally ever made. And the Wii U is nice. Like,
so
Wii U's cool, isn't it?
Right.
But we can't play a lot of these games. So there has been kind of whispers in the wind of the idea of a Switch Pro, or even just kind of some peripherals so you can use your phone as a second screen to play these games. And it might not work for everything, but imagine a new Nintendo Switch Online in February or March, where suddenly you could play DS games and 3DS games because you had a second screen with either your phone, or it let you use your iPad, or a second Switch you maybe had if you had a Switch Lite or something like that. Like these things are entirely possible. Like Red Dead let you use your iPad as a map. You know, like these things have been done. They're easily done over Bluetooth, and Nintendo of all people can make these things work. They don't have to sell us an entire new Wii U gamepad controller. Like the idea of using Bluetooth and your phone and that sort of thing is super, super easy. I say super easy, I'm not making it. But Nintendo could do it, and they could make it work. And to me, everyone has a phone, everyone has a smart device. And that is the easiest way to say, hey, you want to play a DS game? You don't have to buy this new peripheral like a Wii U gamepad that's $80 or $100. You already have this. Buy this grip from us that comes with $20 online credit or something like that for our new Nintendo Switch Online. Like, and that's one thing that I think maybe is going to happen, because I don't think Nintendo can ignore the DS and 3DS games forever. Like some of those are the definitive ways to play games. Some of those are also just incredible games that are going to be lost if we don't have a way to play them. Stuff like that, you know, stuff like Nintendo, stuff like Professor Layton, stuff like Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Diamond and Pearl, and stuff like that. Like those games were made with the second screen in mind, and to present them in any other way, I think, is disrespectful. So we haven't seen anything. I maybe don't believe every rumor I hear, but the idea that Nintendo of all people could make a second screen device work with your phone is utterly believable to me.
Oh yeah.
That'd be super interesting. I think, yeah. That'd be it open so many possibilities as well for different games. I guess.
Nintendo Land. Let's go.
Yes, yeah, let's bring it back. What one I guess that could work with a second screen is Pokemon Snap. Imagine if you could kind of hold your phone up and take the photos off your TV screen or something like that.
The panorama apps on the Wii U. Do you remember those where you could they
Yeah.
did it with Google Maps and they had this thing where you were flying around and everyone was like, "Well, make a Pokemon Snap game." And then when the 3DS came out and you could do the same thing but it was 3D, everyone was like, "Make a Pokemon Snap game." And now on Switch they're like, "This is the time." And we're like, "What? This has got the least things to make
There's
a
no
Pokemon Snap game."
camera. Yeah.
But maybe that's why we haven't heard anything. Maybe they were giving us a little bit of like Snap's coming, and then next year when we see peripherals or other options, we're going to be like, it makes sense now.
Yeah. So talking about Pokemon Snap, when do you think? Because we've seen a trailer for that. Mm-hmm. When do you think that's coming out? Do you think that's going to be for the Pokemon Anniversary, or is that again later in the year because of COVID?
I'll take a guess on that this time, so I'm not sleeping on it.
We'll hold you to it.
I say yes. I say that they announced it way long ago. I think it's not going to be as big of a production since it's more of like a remake type thing. I think it'll be one of the things that'll drive sales like right at the start of the Pokemon Anniversary. They're going to be like, we have a big Pokemon Direct and it's going to be available like 1st of March or something like that. It's going to be like early-ish in the year.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right. Nintendo hit a incredible sweet spot with Animal Crossing as this kind of summer game that delivered more things through the year, and I don't think they're going to ignore that. I don't think they expect Animal Crossing either to do the same sort of year-on-year sales. So something like Pokemon Snap has the same, if not better, kind of branding. Like everyone knows Pokemon. So many people played Pokemon Snap, and that is a summer, that's a spring game. So if they make it kind of, they give it seasonal updates. They're like, hey, spring or summer's coming. These levels now have a different kind of theme. We've added nighttime options to these levels. We've thrown in a couple more Pokemon and stuff. Like that to me is one of the ideal games as a service. I say games as a service, but you know what I mean in terms of the incremental upgrades that Animal Crossing's added, not something like Destiny where we've got to do raids. But you know what I mean? The Animal Crossing approach has been perfect in terms of like holidays and month on month adding something and giving you reasons to go back. And I think Pokemon Snap is a very good way to do that, as long as there's enough content in the game. But more people know what Pokemon is than Animal Crossing. So I think you're right in that it would be perfect for that spring spot that Nintendo also know is a moneymaker. Like Breath of the Wild was a spring game. They know they make money there.
Yeah, and so we've kind of gone through what we know is pretty much coming next year, but time for some wild predictions. Do you think anything's on the horizon that we don't know about yet that's going to completely blow people away? I'm hoping for Mario Kart 9. I really want that to kind of come out. It's been a fair few years since the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I feel like it's time for a new Mario Kart, if it's going to be the kind of Mario Kart Maker, or maybe just like there have been rumors kind of circulating about a Nintendo kart where it's all the characters from Nintendo in one game, like akin to like Super Smash Brothers, basically, where everyone's in it. But what kind of games do you think are going to come out? Or are there going to be any kind of other kind of crazy accessories? Is it going to be the vitality sensor? Is that finally going to make a re-emergence?
It's a good question. I think that Nintendo's going to keep going in on this like retro bring back thing. So for example, we had the Nintendo brought back the GameCube controller and the NES, correct? I'm not sure exactly what, but I think this year we're going to see something more hardware wise that has to do with bringing the retro onto the Switch. So you can buy this much beloved console feature and bring it to your Switch. I can't think specifically, but I feel like that's the trend they're going with. And that's something we have no word of that I think we're going to get a lot more of next year.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of hardware next year. I think next year is going to be a refresh year for Nintendo. And I think as well as saying, hey, there's going to be a Switch Pro, like I've already said, I really wouldn't be surprised if we get a Switch Home, which has the capabilities of a Switch Pro, but is only a home version because a lot of people already have a Switch that other people that want the Switch Pro. And I would, if I have a Switch Pro, I'd quite like to keep my Switch as the portable one and then have the one that I use at home as the 4K one, you know, because I don't need my handheld Switch to be 4K capable because it's not going to have a screen that does it. Like, there's no need for that.
Right.
So I think it's pretty obvious we're getting a Switch Pro, but I think a Switch Home is entirely a possibility. On the other end, I think also a Switch Mini is a possibility, with maybe like digital only, as cheap as possible. Look at the 2DS form factor, like these things that we look at and we're like, Nintendo, what are you doing? Sell millions. They still sell millions. Like the 2DS became a perfect kids introduction to so many games, especially with the online. Like you could buy a 2DS, you could pick up Mario DS and Mario 3DS and all of these things that kids want to play, but you could also play the old Pokemon games and stuff like that. Like, imagine a mini Switch where you can play pretty much Animal Crossing and loads of Switch games, but you could also go into the online and suddenly you can download Super Mario 64 and Pokemon Gold and Silver and stuff. Like, if they make one that is cheap enough, that is such a perfect option for so many people as a device to do these things. So I know we have a light, but I think
a lighter light.
Yeah, I think a mini would be the way to go. Like, you know, because we had an SP and then we had like I'm going to Game Boy Advance now. So there was the Game Boy, there was the Game Boy SP, then there was the Game Boy backlit, and then there was the Game Boy like mini. Like, Nintendo aren't afraid to just change and just work with these things and see what they can do. And even the Game Boy Mini, that sold millions. Like, I've got one. Like, Nintendo aren't afraid to make something that they know isn't going to sell as much as other things, but will still sell millions because that's still millions of dollars.
Yeah. And then they're not going to abandon the Switch anytime soon, are they? That kind of brand name is so huge that they're just going to kind of keep diversifying. Doing different models.
This is the strongest branding they've had since the Game Boy. Even the DS didn't have this strong a branding because you still had to explain the DS, and then you had the 3DS, then you had the 2DS, and it got super.
I still call my DS my Game Boy.
Like, this is literally the strongest they've had since people called everything a Game Boy for 20 years nearly. Like, people called the DS a Game Boy. Like,
that's what I just said. Yeah.
Sorry. Didn't mean to mansplain your point to you.
Wow. No, it's true. It's true. It's like everything was a Game Boy.
Yeah. Like, and I think the Switch was such a perfect response to the Wii U's bad marketing, that the Switch isn't going anywhere, but the amount of offshoots we're going to see before we eventually get a Super Switch or something, like, you know, there's so many different ways a Switch can work, and there's so many different games you can play on them. And I don't think Nintendo are afraid to be like, if you get a Switch Mini, I guess Doom Eternal, which is a Switch Pro exclusive, won't work on it. Like, there's enough games to sell, man. There's enough things that are gonna work.
Maybe it'll be on the back of the box. It'll be like, plays on Switch Pro, Switch OG, not
you
Switch
cannot
Mini.
play Ring Fit Adventure on your Switch Lite. Like, we've already seen these things. We've already seen this kind of splintering, and it's up to the consumer. And Nintendo aren't afraid to make a product that limits these things if they know it's going to sell.
I've kind of seen a lot of noise about the PlayStation 5, like the haptic feedback of the controllers. I did kind of wonder, maybe if they would maybe create some new Joy-Cons that would work on multiple systems, maybe for different kind of games, because it seems like every month there's a different pattern for a new Joy-Con, and maybe they're just kind of experimenting, just want to kind of, like, you know, back themselves, make sure nothing kind of gets out. But I think maybe some new Joy-Cons could be on the way that have different features, work with different kind of games.
Kind of like really the new Wiimote, the what was it, the Wii Plus, Wiimote
Wiimote Plus, something like that, where
something like that.
Yeah, you can give new experiences. I don't feel like the Joy-Cons games got enough out of them already with the kind of the IR reader and things like that. I think. But hopefully, if they do make another controller, hopefully new games will kind of take advantage of that.
Sure. Why wouldn't they? That's kind of the point, right? You want hardware to take advantage or software to take advantage of it. So people go, well, now if I want to play, Skyward Sword, I should get the Wii Motion Plus so that I can use my sword right. And, the Switch version of that.
I think
Ooh, Skyward Sword on the Switch. Ooh, sorry, side note. That would be nice.
It is gonna happen. I think that's the next one we're getting.
I hope so.
But I think when you look at the success of stuff like Labo, and I say success, I mean success in the way it uses the features of the Joy-Cons, not sales, because sadly it hasn't worked that much. Like, we've seen Labo reduced in sales and stuff. I want to see the features that Nintendo put into these things brought to light, but it is always up to software. And that is also always up to Nintendo. Like, I don't know why 1-2 Switch wasn't a pack-in. Did you really need to make money from 1-2 Switch, Nintendo? How much money do you make year on year? Like, they're just a powerhouse of like steady software. And Breath of the Wild was going to be this incredible thing, but they were like, no, we need to make 1-2 Switch different. Like,
we need to get the 40 quid out of people.
Or even Snipper Clips. Snipper Clips would have been an incredible packing game.
Oh, and I think that's so fun.
Like, exactly. And then you look at what the reviews for Astrobot are saying right now. They're telling everyone, this comes on your PS5, man, and it works brilliantly. The haptic feedback feels amazing. And we're seeing people say this is an evolution of what the Joy-Cons do. And the fact that everyone can play this, including developers, means that people are going to have ideas. Developers are going to pick up a PS5 this weekend. They're going to play Astrobot because it's free on their PS5, as it should be, and they're going to get ideas. Whereas with Nintendo, with the Joy-Cons, who played 1-2 Switch, like, other than Nintendo fans? Like, and other than a couple of neat things in Super Mario Party or your horse in Stardew Valley or, like, things like that, like, it's been so sparse because it wasn't... Nintendo almost didn't believe in it, you know?
Yeah, like the HD Rumble is so good that it has so many applications that can have in different games, and it was just completely ignored.
It feels great when it works, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, that kind of wraps up our look at the future. So I guess it's now on to the quiz, which Anna, are you doing again this week?
I guess so.
I'm sorry. Last week you dropped the ball.
Are we kind of going to rotate it from now on? Is it going to be kind of everyone does 1 week, or is this just a brief kind of,
We can do that. I'm happy to do it. I've just had a particularly busy week. I
was happy to jump in.
I won't go into it too much, but it was my partner's 30th birthday yesterday, and
happy birthday.
Any birthday plans we had in England were scrapped at the last minute. So I've had a long week, and there's been a lot of stuff I've had to do with Ninty Fresh and Switch Player as well. So
yes, it's a very exciting time for Ninty Fresh.
You are forgiven.
Very exciting time for Ninty Fresh. I'm so excited for issue 2. I'm really happy with the way.
So Ninty Fresh is fully funded now, right?
Yes.
Well, it was fully funded within hours of going live, but it's ended funding, and we finished on over 15K, which means that we hit one of the top goals we were aiming for. Yes. It means we've commissioned an art print to go in with every single issue of Ninty Fresh 2.
So cool.
I can't wait to get that.
And that money goes towards all of us who write for it and make it for the next few issues as well. It doesn't just all get spent on one issue. It goes on making sure that the next ones we can kind of plan better, because we've got a better idea of how many people are interested.
Right.
So the quiz this week is on Ninty Fresh, right?
Oh no, we're gonna do another music quiz.
Let's break embargo. Let's just do the quiz about reviews for Ninty Fresh too.
I'll do.
Call people out. Why did they give a review on this? So I missed out last week. I was really disappointed because it was such a great quiz, and I was like, I wish I could have played it.
John did so well as well.
I know,
when John was just sat there, it was like, this is definitely a SNES game. It's like Final Fantasy, but not. It's probably Chrono Trigger. And I was looking at him like,
yeah.
I was trying not to react to some of you guys, and you were like, I think you were like, I think this is Chun-Li, and I was like, in my brain, but then outside it was just like poker face. That
has haunted me all week.
That you missed out, and I've had that one stuck in my head. It's such a banger.
I knew it wasn't Gal's theme because I can do Gal's theme at the drop of a hat, like dun 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 dun, like it's in my brain at any given moment. But Chun-Li's theme, I was like, I don't think this is it.
So this one, I tried to give you guys a few more slam dunks at the beginning. Towards the end, I think all of these are at least the game you'll be able to maybe nail. So let's do this. I'm interested.
1 point for if you get the game right?
Right. So let me explain. Right. So this is whose theme is it anyway? For those of you that didn't see the last episode, and for Alex, Electric Boogaloo. So basically what we're going to do is I'm going to play some music for you guys like this. And you'll go, okay, I know this is Ocarina of Time, but I can't quite figure out what character it is.
Sephiroth.
I'll give Sephiroth. I'll go, well, you got the game, so I'll give you 1 point, Nate. But unfortunately, that is not the right character. It is what character?
Zelda.
Good job, Alex.
See, when I was listening last week, I was like, when you were like, I'll give the example. I was like, Zelda's Lullaby. I fucking nailed it. And you were like,
nailed it.
That's an easy one. I was like, oh, okay.
Nailed
I was really proud of myself.
Well, yeah, so that's how it's going to work. But if you get the character and you say Zelda from, in that case, that's they're going to be a little more specific than that. From this specific game, I'll say, good, you get 3 points. So hopefully this time we won't end up with a big fat tie.
I feel like Nathan's going to wipe the floor with me.
We'll see.
No, I made some pretty epic blunders last week, so don't worry.
It's okay. Some softballs to start out. I'll start out with you, Alex, since you're so excited to be a participant in the quiz. You ready? Oh, it'll be fine. Don't worry. Here we go. This is one we've probably heard a lot of recently.
Okay, yeah.
So
name
you
the
want
game.
More?
Yeah, go on. Give it a little bit more. Go on.
Sure. You can name the game if you can't figure out the character, but if you take a hack, you should take a hack if you think you know what character it is.
I'm gonna say, man, I'm gonna be awful at this quiz. I'm gonna say Bowser, Mario 64.
Bowser, Mario 64. Unfortunately, Alex, that is close, but no cigar.
No.
Nathan's like, because he knows for sure. Nathan, what is it?
It's only because I've just finished my review. That is Bowser Jr. or Shadow Mario's theme from Super Mario Sunshine.
I haven't played it. Yeah. Damn it.
That is Shadow Mario. Unfortunately, there's no. Well, good for you, Alex. There's no stealing points, so he didn't get points for that.
There's just bragging points.
Yeah.
They're just bragging points. Exactly. Hang on, let me mute. Yeah. Okay. So here you go. Another bit of a softball here for you, Nate. Happy nostalgic memories. Oh, he looks lost, boys and girls. He looks lost. Here, I'll let you listen a little bit. You don't know it. Oh no.
I know it.
You know it?
It's that's definitely my brain.
And these are the softball questions.
Oh my life.
Oh boy, I'm scared for y'all.
Okay, that is a.
I added that at the end. I was
that is a girl's theme from a Zelda game or a RPG game. So I'm thinking Marin from Link's Awakening. I'm thinking Dragon Quest. Who is it? It's a girl from an RPG.
This is a softball. I don't think I would give you, to be fair, some random person from Dragon Quest.
No, but
I'm not gonna be that mean.
Oh no! Oh, I'm really stuck with this because I know
You're
it. As soon as you tell me, I'm gonna be really angry.
I'll let you listen to the beginning again. Just close your eyes. Who does this make you think of?
I know as well. It sounds so familiar.
It does, doesn't it?
I can hear the opening RPG text over it.
Right. You can just hear some character talking or something.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Link's Awakening and Marin's theme.
Ah, you guys are killing me. It's Wind Waker.
No.
It's Grandma.
Oh no.
Ah.
It's Grandma. Come on, guys.
Poor
I thought it was
sad
Ocarina
grandma.
of Time.
Poor sad
It's-
grandma who just
Oh my
watches her
God.
granddaughter get torn, like flown to another island.
Right? Poor Grandma. Oh my God.
I
All
knew
right,
it was
well,
Zelda. I'm so
I
annoyed.
thought that would be pretty easy. I think the
I
game
love
for
Wind
this
Waker.
one, I know you guys both had it on the tip of your tongue. I can tell you were it was killing you when I said it. This one, I think Alex is going to be able to get the game right off the bat, but character might be a little tough. So here we go. I think the game should be pretty obvious.
I don't know. No, stop.
Unless
It's obvious to you. You're sat looking at it.
No, because it's like I figured. I won't say why I think it's obvious yet. You get the point.
I'm gonna say the game Pikmin.
Which one?
Pikmin 3. Maybe for character Louis.
You get 1 point.
Ah.
It's Pikmin 3. It's Brittany.
Ah.
Brittany.
Okay.
Brittany.
Brittany. They say Brittany.
1 point. I'm happy with 1 point. I'm happy with 1
You're
point.
winning now. So there you go.
But not for long.
I think
I'll
Nate
take
might
it.
get this one.
I don't
Nate's. I say that every
I was
time,
gonna
by the
say.
way. I literally say that every time. It's like when I'm watching a movie with someone, I go, oh my God, this is the best part. Or a musical, and I go, this is the best song. So, Nate, I think you'll get this one, she said again.
Stop putting pressure on me. What if I get it wrong?
Absolutely no clue.
You
Right.
either really know that one or you don't.
It's definitely Animal Crossing. But I don't know whose theme it is. I don't. Is that KK's theme? It's the only theme I can think of. But it's like in the game. It's called like Totaku's something or like. I'm just gonna say Animal Crossing and KK's theme.
Oh my God, I'm going to pee my pants. It's so funny. It's Majora's Mask.
What? That sounds like Animal Crossing so
It's
much.
Mikau. Listen to it again and think about Majora's Mask. If my YouTube will.
Is this the Deku Shrub theme?
It's the Zora who plays
The Zora woman has got the
guitar.
guitar.
When you were Nate, when you were like, "Oh, Animal Crossing," I was like, "Yeah, he's got it. This is
Mikau.
it's definitely Animal
That
Crossing."
sounds so much like Animal Crossing.
Oh my God, that's so funny. Oh my God, I'm gonna
Not
pee my
funny. I'm
pants.
losing.
It's hilarious. I think it's funny that you said Animal Crossing. Did you see my face? I couldn't even hide it. I was like, "You said Animal Crossing? Did you just say Animal Crossing?"
I love Majora's Mask as well.
Oh my God, it's hilarious. No, that's what I thought. Is like he's a Zelda fan. He's got this.
I don't want
All
to
right,
make
Alex.
excuses, right? But I've got ADHD, so I don't have a memory. Like,
Me too. I have the worst memory. All right, Alex. I think
I've got no
this-
excuses.
This is one that I'm interested to see.
Okay.
I would get the game on this, but I don't know, you guys. I don't know with you people.
Here we go.
you
here we
get it
go.
because you're sat staring at it.
Yeah.
I pick the games that I
Next
know
week,
too.
I'm gonna do this for you, and I'm gonna make it so hard.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll lose.
Yeah, I've heard this before. Okay.
All right. Jazzy, right?
Banjo-Kazooie. I'd say the game. But I want to say the character is I can't even remember his name, but it is the wizard with the skull. Oh, I can't remember his name. I'm just going to say Banjo-Kazooie.
You know, I know you know who you're talking about. So yes, it's
wrong?
Banjo-Kazooie. No, you're completely right.
I forgot his name.
And you forgot his name, but I feel like I should I be generous about that? Because
I think he knew exactly who it was.
He knows exactly.
What
it's like last time John said Cranny, and I was like, you meant Cranky, right? You're talking about Mumbo.
Mumbo, yeah.
You're talking about Mumbo, so I'm going to give it to you.
Oh my god, that is ingrained in my head.
I'll happily concede.
Did you ever picture a world in which you'd be crushing Nate at this?
Never. When I listened to the podcast last week, I was like, oh my god.
Zelda ones as well. I call myself a Zelda fan.
Yeah, you just had a Zelda one. It's true. iPhone commercial. Oh, there we go. So Nathan, I think you'll be upset if you get this one wrong too.
It's Cynthia's theme from Pokemon.
It's okay, you got it.
Cynthia's Diamond and Pearl, isn't she?
Yep.
Yeah.
You don't have to say you knew it. It's a classic. I told you guys I gave you easy ones at the beginning.
That is incredible.
Right. That's the end of the easy ones.
I know Cynthia's theme inside out because of that Garchomp.
The Garchomp, yes. So there you go. You got you're catching up to Alex now. Okay. Alex, though, unfortunately, here's your next one. Any ideas at least on the game? You look pretty lost. What are your thoughts?
No, yeah, completely drawn a blank there.
Yeah. This one was inspired by a guest last podcast. Someone guessed something that I was like, I should look into those games. And then I looked into found a
Monkey Ball.
Nope. No, yeah, Monkey Ball.
A random wild guess, Super Mario Odyssey.
You're off, my friend. It is Kirby Superstar.
Never played it.
Never played it. It is Mark's.
That sounds dramatic for a Kirby game.
Yeah, I was like kind of thinking of like really dark.
Pretty sure it's a bad guy. That's because it's
Is it like DDD's theme or like
Mark's
theme?
Mark's.
Oh, Mark's. Oh yeah, Mark's is horrible. Mark's is the weird like laughing Joker-headed jester thing.
Very creepy looking. I don't like looking at him, so I'm gonna move on.
Drew a blank there.
Mark's is a boss in Super Smash Brothers as well.
There you go. This one is interesting. I'm interested to see if you guys know this. Someone else suggested they listened to the podcast and said, well, Anna, you should really add a song from this series.
I mean, it depends if I know it or not.
We'll see. This is also they were like, you need to put this person.
It's like a tune. I like it. I don't know what it is, but I like it.
Give me like big N64 vibes, like Doom or Turok, like.
Let me skip a little farther in.
What's that? Right.
You get the point.
I don't know what game it is, but
if you get the character, I'll give it to you.
It sounds like an N64 game, and it sounds a little bit like James Bond, but not James Bond. So Perfect Dark was originally envisioned as a James Bond sequel. It sounds like Perfect Dark for N64, but I don't know what the character is from that.
I'll stop you right there because you're way off.
Oh man.
Sorry. And so that reminded me of The Princess Bride, when he's like, but you see, in Australia, you know, there are the scepters. I mean, it's like, it's Vizzini. No, it's F-Zero GX. That is Pico.
Oh yeah, I was way off.
Pico, our boy. And
man.
now
I don't think I had a mad train of thought there. I think that made sense.
Yeah, as you were saying it, I was like, yeah, he's on something here.
Yeah, he's right. He's right.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. I was racking my brain thinking, like, when I play Perfect Dark, did I hear that theme?
I will say, I think Nathan's going to be mad that Alex is getting this one, because if Nathan knows this, he's going to be like, he's going to be like really mad that you don't get it.
Just the way it works.
Yeah, we'll see. Or nobody can know it. I don't know. I see a knowing face on Nathan.
He's got a very good poker face.
I think he knows it. Any ideas, Alex?
No. Maybe Zelda Skyward Sword.
Your guesses are really interesting.
It's so clearly like a SNES game. What?
It's like, where are you getting Wii games from? You guessed
I'm just like
Odyssey.
stuff out anywhere. I was like, just like
what?
anything that comes to mind.
Skyward Sword had an orchestral soundtrack.
I'm panicking here. I'm just like
and
clutching at straws.
Can you imagine this on the Wii?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
No, it's Earthbound, my friend.
Oh, okay. No,
Nathan, did you know that, or was I wrong? That you had a pretty knowing.
I knew I recognized it, but I couldn't have told you the game.
It's Paula.
Ah,
Paula from Earthbound.
not Pooh's theme. Let's never forget there's a character in Earthbound called Pooh, and that will always be funny.
Nice.
So I have an extra question, and I'm just sitting here like, which one should I give you at the end?
Alex has already won, isn't he?
You're only a point behind, and there's one more question to make it even.
Ooh, okay.
So now I'm sitting here like, which one should I give you? Because I have two pretty hard ones.
Pull it back.
Is this going to be a buzz-in?
If you get 1 point, I have a tiebreaker question.
This is your chance to absolutely smash me.
All right, so I'll give you this one.
I've got a lot wrong. I was not a Zelda game, because apparently I don't know them.
I'll give you the one I feel like you probably have more chance of at least getting 1 point on to make this interesting. So here we go. Guesses? No? On the game, at least?
That sounds so cheery. It sounds like a very cheery SNES game.
It is.
Or maybe N64.
You read my face. Darn it. Okay, don't make a face.
I'm starting replaying it in my mind, trying to think of
Yeah. N64. Maybe like one of the Pokemon Stadium games, or like.
It's gonna be a character. Think of a character.
Like
the character's theme.
Hey You Pikachu's on the Switch, on the N64. Sorry.
There a character in that?
Yeah, Pikachu's theme.
Yeah, Pikachu.
I'm thinking.
I'm dying.
That's such a cheery theme.
It is. It's cheery. It's a character's theme. I mean, the whole game isn't necessarily like da 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 da, but that's one person in the game.
Maybe it's Yoshi. Maybe it's Yoshi from Yoshi 64.
Ooh.
Sorry, no. It's from Phoenix Wright. It's from Phoenix Wright.
Wow.
It is.
I've never played those games.
I thought it would be obvious. It's Maya's theme. Maya Faye's
I've
theme.
always wanted to play them. I just
Oh
never
my
got around to it.
gosh. All right. Well, just for kicks, here's the
let's
last
play the
one I
last one.
had.
Yeah,
just
okay, here we go.
just for fun. Even though congrats, Alex, you won.
Yeah, Alex is
I
one.
have point. Holy
Just-
crap,
just-
my guys. Next time we do this, I want to do like locations. There's so many places that have such great themes. But here's the last one that I had. This is
I know this.
You do?
I feel like I know this. I definitely have played this game, whatever it is, whether it's like, is it WarioWare or... I know I've played this game.
Any guesses?
Luigi's Mansion, like...
Sounds quite robotic. I don't know. But
You skip further in.
You're going to tell me and I'm going to hate the fact that I know it.
I can tell you the game. You can see if you got the character.
yeah, go on, yeah.
All right. It is Paper Mario Thousand Year Door.
Oh, of course it is. I've played that game so much.
I'm just gonna say Toad.
Just Toad. Any Toad. Not Toad. Someone hasn't played it in a while.
The Professor Goomba. The Professor Goomba guy. What's
You got
his
it
name?
right. It's Professor
Ah.
Frankly.
Yeah.
Professor Frankly. Yep. Remember the last one that you guys hated me for last time was Professor or Dr. Toadley from Bowser's Inside Story. So I thought I'd
see.
end this one on a similarly cheap note. And then later on, I got the idea for Maya. Anyway, congrats, Alex.
I think Nathan
Pulling
won
it
the
in.
moral victory. I won the technical victory there. I think,
Nathan
his
with
knowledge is
Cynthia
deep.
though was just
Yeah,
as
that
clutch
was-
as his Rossetti one. He just heard it and he was like, "Yeah, I
Just
know that.
knew. Just
You can
knew.
stop. You can stop. I know."
Yeah.
The problem, I said the problem, there's no problem with being neurodivergent. When you have ADHD, you either know something or you don't. And I don't have the capability to be like, I think I remember that from a certain place and time.
Right.
Let
I
me go
either
back.
know it and I'm obsessed with it, or I've got no idea and it is gone from my memory forever.
Yeah.
So like that's just the way my brain works.
Fair enough.
That was a very,
Yeah.
very good quiz. I
Hey,
enjoyed
if
that.
I
Yeah, that was
took
great.
if I was on your end, it would be similarly hard. Like I'd be this close with the game and get 0 points. So I'm not claiming to be an expert on all these things. Although the first quiz round we did, most of them were themes that I am very familiar with because I just shoehorned all my favorites in. And this time
Yeah.
I was just like balls to the wall, threw some crazy ones at you
Anything
that I
with it,
kind of
yeah.
randomly thought of. But next time, yeah, if we do some locations, we can do some.
I will make a music quiz for
bangers.
you, I promise.
Oh,
Yeah.
I would love it, honestly, because
Let's
I do
turn the
love game
tables. Let's
music.
see how she fares.
And
Yeah.
I listen to a lot of game music, but I would probably do pretty poorly, to be honest. If the tables were turned, it's a lot easier to be the quiz master.
But I think the important thing to remember is that I won. So,
right.
there you go.
Less. That's our moral of the story. Everybody, go home.
I
and
concede.
tell your kids.
I concede, I'm fine with that.
And what a great way to end the podcast as well. So thank you for listening once again. I hope you enjoy it as much as we obviously love recording this. And thank you for coming on to chat, Nathan. No, it's been great.
It's
Thank
been a great
you.
week. It's been a really fun one.
Yes.
That's been really good. Yeah. Hopefully
10
everyone enjoys
episodes,
listening.
That's great.
10 episodes, we've made it. Who knows if we can get to 20? We'll see.
No, we're
We'll
gonna
see.
get canceled.
Yeah.
Hashtag canceled.
Yeah, place your bets now as what episode we're going to get cancelled. But if you want more from us, you can find us over on switchplayer.net and on YouTube. Plus, you can also support us on Patreon to get our beautiful little magazine for only $5 a month. So that's it for another week in Nintendo Land. Until next time, we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.